I love it. Angels watch angels Coast Guard Academy Glee Club, based in New London, Connecticut. Glad to be with you here today. I'm going to sing a few sea shanties for you. We've just sung High Barbary, an English sea ballad, and now we'll sing a song that became an internet sensation the last few years from New Zealand, Wellerman.
You're going to like this. To see life. Oh God.
Someday the water may come, bring the sugar and tea and rum. One day when the 20th come, we'll see our even go. She's not been 2 weeks from shore and down on her airport. Thank you. Call all the seasons will be taking us where we go. Someday the water may come to bring us sugar and tea and rum. One day when the 20th come, we'll take our even go. But still that building goes. Whereas I heard the fight's still on, the lights have cut, and the girl's not gone. Waterman makes his regular calls and carries Captain Crew and soon may the waterman come to bring us sugar and tea and rum. One day when the fighting is done, we'll take our leave and go. Soon may the waterman come to bring us sugar and tea and rum. One day when the fighting is done, we'll take our leave and go. We'll take our leave and go. We'll take our leave and take our leave and go.
And we're going to do the Merchant Marine song too. We'll make sure we include our shipmates.
First to fight for the right and to build the nation's might, and the army was rolling in the mud. And it's high, high day, the army's on its way. From all the streets of its shore, for wherever we go, we'll always know that the army goes rolling along. From the halls of Montezuma to the shores of Tripoli, we fight our country's battles in the air, on land and sea. First to fight for right and freedom, freedom, but to keep our honor clean. We are proud to claim the title of United States Marines. Anchors away, my boys, anchors away. Farewell to foreign shores, we sail at break of day. To our skies of shore, drink to the foe, until we meet once more in fresh on we go into the wild blue yard. Nothing can stop the U.S. Air Force. Great and mighty, watch the light. Guardians beyond the blue. The invisible front line. For fighters brave and true. We'll be reaching into space. There's no limit to our sky. Standing on both night and day. Where the space forms from on high. Behold, my lands behold. It's a long, long way to go. It's a long, long pull with our hatchets full. Bringing the wind, bringing the sea, bringing the treacherous flow. Behold, my lands behold. Let the sea roll high on low. We can cross any ocean, sail any river. Give us the goods and we'll deliver. Down the submarines, we're America's merchant marines. Behold, from Pacific shore to Arctic shore to Europe and Paris, the flag is carried by our ships in times of war and peace. Never have we struck it yet in spite of homeward flight. We cheered on crews and cheered like them for showing how to fight. We're always ready for the call. We we're just in need. Through service, storm, and proudly give, I shall our purpose be. Semper Paratus is our guide, our fame, our glory too. To fight, to save, or fight and right, I resort we are for you.
All right, what do you think of that, huh? Let's have a big round of applause for the United States Coast Guard Academy seniors under the direction of Dr. Daniel McDavid. All righty, we're going to get started here in a few minutes. You know, on the way in today, I stopped and I just realized why they have those paper towels next to the gas pumps. It's to wipe the tears away from your eyes after you fill your tank. So we made it in today. And as our day continues, remember that no act of kindness, no matter how small, is ever wasted. Hi, hello, how are you? Good morning, and welcome to the 23rd celebration for the Chicago Christmas Tree Ship. 23 years we've been doing this, and thank you for making sure we do. Your support has made this absolutely possible. We really do appreciate it. This morning, this weird dream that I was in a room with God, and he sneezed. I didn't know what to say. Well, here's a fellow who always knows what to say, but he says it in song. Welcome, my friend, Lee Murdoch. Lee Murdoch is a Great Lakes balladeer, a historian, who has 24 CDs under his belt. He's been the official balladeer for Chicago's Christmas trip, and he's here with the song that he wrote to commemorate the Rouse Simmons. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome my friend, Lee Murdoch.
First to be here. And it's kind of nice to take the jacket off, the hat off, and just kind of face the weather, so to speak. So it's fun to be here to commemorate such a wonderful event with a song that I composed called When Big Mac Comes to This Harbor, referring, of course, to the Mackinaw, not the cheeseburger. Lake Michigan lay down after a long and wintry night. Waves subsided with the hint of dawn's first light. On the beach of this old vessel with the coffee steaming high, I think about her story and the years that passed her by. In the crucible of war, it was then her keel was laid, an instrument of industry, a power staunch and stay. A clear path for freedom through the ice-encrusted lakes, of security found in her churning ray. As we slowly glide into the sport, the frostings in the air, the bustle of the city streets in the distance you can hear. The beer sparkles festive on this cool December day, when Big Mac comes to this harbor to give Christmas trees away. She served us proudly, her men and women too. Through ice and snow, fair winds are foul, her Coast Guard course was true. And in her twilight time, as her future became clear, she wrought goodwill for those in need, and a little Christmas cheer. Now it seems a small notion with the problems of today, building to a great crescendo, both here and far away. But you have to start it somewhere, building bridges from despair. It's our most important challenge, and Big Mac has done her share. As we slowly glide into this port, the frost hangs in the air. The bustle of the city streets in the distance you can hear. The beer sparkles festive on this cool December day, when Big Mac comes to this harbor to give Christmas trees away. Now her sailing days are over, and she's tied up all the time. The coast who still salute her, on her decks the boats still climb. But the mission isn't over, there is still much to do for the next generation of Big Mac and her crew. As we slowly glide into this port, the frost hangs in the air. The bustle of the city streets in the distance you can hear. Beer sparkles festive on this cold December day, when Big Mac comes to this harbor to give Christmas trees away. This beer sparkles festive on this cold December day, when Big Mac comes to this harbor to give Christmas trees away.
Wrap that face.
bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, sailors, that star-spangled banner yet wave, for the land of the free and the home of the brave.
Right, face, forward, march.
And salute.
Ladies and gentlemen, another round of applause, please, for the Lincoln Way Central High School Air Force Junior ROTC Cadet Color Guard and the United States Coast Guard Academy Singers. Captain Joe O'Connor, the president of the Shipmasters Memorial Foundation, and Captain Dave Truitt, founding chairman of Chicago's Christmas Tree Ship Program, are presenting the memorial wreath to Father Michael Enright of St. Paul's Catholic Church on 22nd Place in Chicago. Father Enright was recently appointed to the Stella Maris Chaplain for Chicago by Cardinal Blaise Cupich. Father Enright will bless the wreath, and through it, the Coast Guard cutter Mackinac and the Lake Freighters, with a special remembrance of the vessels and sailors, like the crew of the Ralph Simmons, the original Christmas Tree ship, have been lost at sea.
Let us pray. O God, your Son Jesus knew the dangers of the sea, and his first disciples were all fishermen and sailors. We ask your blessing on the Coast Guard and on her crew. Protect them from bad weather and all the other dangers of the sea. We ask your blessing on this wreath and these trees, and all those who made this gift possible for Chicago. We also ask you to take home those who've been lost at sea. Grant them a resting place in your kingdom. We ask all this in Christ's Lord.
And this morning we're very proud to have the Chicago Fire Department Air Sea Rescue Helicopter Unit complete the memorial ceremony by dropping a memorial wreath for all those lost at sea. The helicopter is flying down the aisle way off Navy Pier to the deeper waters near Chicago Light at the end of Dime Pier, which can be seen off in the distance. The helicopter will hover over the open waters. Then the helicopter will slowly lower and pause. And a memorial wreath in honor of all of those lost at sea will be found in the waters where they've traveled and where these brave people lost their lives. At the same time, the Shipmasters Honor Guard are presenting another memorial wreath at the captain at the helm statue positioned near the bow of the cutter Mackin. May God bless those who remain at sea for all Today, the United States Coast Guard cutter Mackinac, the Christmas tree ship, has taken time out of its extraordinary business to get the aids of navigation on Lake Michigan to bring a project of 1,200 Christmas trees to Chicago. These Christmas trees are going to be given to 16 different charities to be distributed to deserving families throughout the Chicago metropolitan area. We are very pleased to have with us today Commander Timothy Tillman, Commanding Officer of Coast Guard Marine Safety Unit Chicago. Commander Tillman assumed duty as Commanding Officer of Marine Safety Unit Chicago in June of 2022. Commander Tillman is a marine safety professional with law enforcement and defense operations experience. Commander Tillman previously was assigned as the Chief of Prevention of the Marine Transportation System at Sector Houston-Galveston. Commander Tillman joined Coast Guard in June of 2000 and graduated from the Coast Guard Academy in 2004. There he earned a Bachelor of Science degree in Civil Engineering. He also holds a master's degree in Business Administration from Troy University, which he earned in 2019. Other significant accomplishments include a tour on the District 7 staff and service on the Marine Security Advisor staff in Baghdad, Iraq during Operation Iraqi Freedom and Operation U-Dawn. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome Commander Timothy Tillman.
I can already tell the dog doesn't want me to speak. We'll try to get started going. Please indulge me for a moment and let me steal your imagination. Imagine a cold winter day. All right, not hard to imagine. All right. But it's a cold winter day. There's a family. Mother, father, infant, child, and they're in their living room. A living room that this year is different than the living room they were in last year. Boxes on the floor, not Christmas boxes, presents, but boxes of their belongings. They're in a new place. They're thousands of miles away from their family and friends. There's a lot of uncertainty. There's a lot of change. But somehow, in the midst of all of this, they all look at each other and smile. And what's causing them to smile? A Christmas tree. I know you're all thinking he's stretching the Christmas tree thing a little bit. But let me land the plane and I'll get you. So good morning all. Distinguished visitors, honorable governmental representatives, staff, Rear Admiral Johnson, Captain Parker, military leaders, industry leaders, friends, Chicagoans, countrymen, thank you for lending me your ears. I am Tim Tillman, as you heard initially introed, and I am a member of Coast Guard Marine Safety Unit Chicago. I would like to first thank the Christmas Tree Shift Committee for producing this incredible event. I would also like to thank the Chicago Council of the Navy League and the International Seafarers Association for their coordination in making this special day happen. Most importantly, though, I would like to thank all the military members and families all around the world whose service makes it possible for us to be here enjoying our freedoms today. It is an absolute pleasure for me to join you for my first Christmas tree shift event. I know that it's the 23rd year of the event being hosted, and to date, I believe nearly 30,000 Christmas trees have been delivered to families of the Chicago area. For the logisticians, mathematicians of the audience, exactly 27,799. I did my research. So as a member of Marine Safety Unit Chicago, we are tasked with ensuring maritime safety, security, and stewardship on commercial vessels, waters of Lake Michigan in the Chicago area, and the waters of the Illinois River system. To do this, we conduct investigations, inspections, waterways management activities to prevent maritime accidents and to prevent losses of life. These activities subsequently include confirming gates of navigation are in place, making sure the waterway is free of obstructions, and even educating recreational boaters on how to use their life-saving appliances, firefighting, and pollution prevention equipment to protect the environment and to protect human life. So all of this information I gave you was a preface for our significant connection to the Ralph Simmons Marine accident. Our unit's existence is to prevent tragic events like that happening on board. Therefore, I want to offer a special thank you to Commander Chad Green and the crew of Coast Guard Company Mackinac, not only for today's delivery of Christmas ships, but also for validating the Coast Guard's efforts and contributions to making shipping safer. So back to what I had you imagine. That is the reality for thousands of military members and families all around the world. New place, new city, not having friends and family nearby. In fact, it's actually the story of my family. Last week, after Thanksgiving was over, we still got moving boxes out, but we put the Christmas tree because it's our tradition. And in the midst of all the anxiety and uncertainty that we deal with, the tree going up, me holding my son, seeing my wife, being in the presence of our tree, just felt secure, felt safe, I felt peace. That's what tradition brings to us. And I think over the past few years where we've been dealing with COVID, a lot of us have realized how much peace and security those traditions bring to us. And this tradition, the Christmas tree ship tradition, this is fantastic. And I'm very honored and blessed to be a part of it. So in closing, allow me to ask you to borrow your minds one more time. Imagine complete darkness. And suddenly, a light and a voice saying, "Glory to God in the highest, peace on earth and goodwill towards men, with whom he is well pleased." And so, I'm offering you this simple phrase to kids from 1 to 92, although it's been said many times, many ways. Merry Christmas.
Thank you very much, Commander Tillman. Well, our very special guest of honor today, of course, is the U.S. Coast Guard Cutter Mackinac. Speaking for the crew of the Mackinac is the Cutter's commanding officer, Commander Jeanette Green. Commander Green is the 9th commanding officer of the Mackinac, which is home ported in Sheboygan, Michigan. Commander Green came to the command of Mackinac from command of the Coast Guard Cutter Hickory, home ported in Homer, Alaska. She started her career at the Coast Guard Academy, earning her baccalaureate in civil engineering in 2005. She earned her master's degree in ocean engineering at the University of Rhode Island. Please welcome Commander Green, Commanding Officer of the Coast Guard Cutter Mackinac.
Good morning, Rear Admiral Johnston, and greetings to all of the guests. I want to give a hearty salute to the Yacht Clubs of Chicago, the Chicago Marine Heritage Society, of course, the Coast Guard Auxiliary, and Marine Safety Unit Chicago for making this year's event possible. So next Wednesday, we'll observe the anniversary of the attack on Pearl Harbor. That event thrust the United States into World War II and blanketed our country in darkness. Like most cities in the country, Washington, D.C. was blacked out to protect it from enemy planes. But the National Christmas Tree Lighting Ceremony in Washington, D.C. carried on to provide a bright moment of hope during those dark and uncertain times. This is the magic of the Christmas tree. We acknowledge the original Christmas tree ship, the three-masted schooner Rouse Simmons. From the late 1880s to 1912, Rouse Simmons would herald in the Christmas season by bringing Christmas trees to Chicago. Rouse Simmons and Captain Herman Schuneman, better known as Captain Santa, brought their trees from northern Michigan and graciously gave some away to families in need. Today, my crew proudly carries on this tradition as we deliver 1,200 trees here to Chicago today. This event has given us Mackinac sailors great joy in the midst of an extremely busy buoy tending season, and for that, we're so grateful and proud to be a part of it. The Coast Guard works with communities all over the Great Lakes to fulfill the service's humanitarian missions, such as education on boating safety and also homeland security. Mackinac is one of the most unique and easily recognizable cutters in the Coast Guard. Its one-of-a-kind propulsion system allows for more efficient maneuvering and more powerful ice-breaking capabilities to assist in the safe transportation of commercial vessels and goods throughout your Great Lakes. The buoys that we have on deck here today ensure the safe navigation of all ships on the Great Lakes, and I hope that you all have the opportunity to take a tour on my ship later this afternoon. With that, happy holidays and thank you so much.
And thank you once again, Commander Green. We're also delighted to have with us Rear Admiral Michael Johnston. Rear Admiral Johnston is the commander of the Coast Guard's 9th District, a command he assumed in May of 2021. He's the senior Coast Guard commander for the Great Lakes and St. Lawrence Seaway. Rear Admiral Johnston graduated from the Coast Guard Academy in 1990 with a Bachelor of Science degree in electrical engineering. After serving 2 consecutive tours afloat, he attended the Georgia Institute of Technology to complete a Master of Science in electrical engineering. Most recently, he served as the Coast Guard's Assistant Commandant Acquisition Chief Acquisition Officer. In that job, he directed efforts across all Coast Guard acquisition programs, acquisition support, personnel, finance, contracting, and research and development activities. Rear Admiral Michael Johnston was recently selected to be the next superintendent of the United States Coast Guard Academy. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome Rear Admiral Michael Johnston.
Good morning, everybody. It is brisk. Bear with me as my mouth warms up here. My mouth is a little cold. Hey, thank you, George, and thank you to the whole Christmas tree, Christmas ship committee and the entire executive staff for inviting me and for organizing this event. I'd also like to say thank you to Ada S. Kennedy Group, Community Services, and Mr. Jamal, who I met last year as an awesome sponsor for a lot going on here today. It is good to be back this year. I'd like to take a moment to acknowledge and welcome a number of members from the local elected representatives, both here in Chicago and in DC. They've been on a Coast Guard adventure for the last week. If you would just raise your hands. You're right. Yeah, there you go. Hey, thank you. Thank you for your support. What you do is what keeps us underway, so we appreciate it. Thank you to the many organizations and individuals who have provided donations for this event. I want to applaud the Academy Glee Club as well, because that is my new home in the near future, and I just want to make friends. So this event could not happen without the incredible generosity of so many, and the number of those willing to answer the call and leaves me inspired and hopeful. I want to thank the numerous volunteers, families, friends who have assisted with the tree offload or will assist, and especially the Chicago Council of Navy League, the International Shipmasters Association, as well as I saw a bunch of them as I came in, the Sea Scouts, the Boy Scouts, the Girl Scouts, and their ROTC programs. Exceptional. And finally, I'd like to take a moment to thank the crew of the Cutter Mackinac and all of our Coast Guard members here today, active duty, reserve, and auxiliary who have supported this event. The nearly 1,200 Christmas trees you have helped transport and offload will brighten the homes of many of the families this December. And it is my hope that being part of this noble mission has also brightened your own homes. There's something special about service, something about doing for others selflessly that is just right, especially this time of year. All of our lives are made up of moments. Some of those moments stand out. Some of those moments are defining. Some of those moments and some are rewarding. And I hope that this moment is all of those. The Chicago Christmas ship tradition is not just a tradition because it's a charitable nature, but also because it's deeply rooted in the rich maritime history of this region. This tradition encapsulates the Midwest's humbleness, close family ties, and compassion for their community. But it also signifies resilience, hard work, and teamwork associated with the life chosen to work at sea. I think remembering how it all started is appropriate because I hope it will inspire others to help when they see someone in need. Providing a little hope can save lives, can change lives, and give strength to those who need it. And I think we can all use a little hope every now and again. So today, let's briefly look at the past, and you've heard sort of snippets of the story, but it's funny to play here and take some lessons learned so that we can all have a better future. There's stories about particular hero associated with this incredible tradition. Now, just behind me, you'll see the iconic red-hulled Coast Guard Cutter Mackinac, the magnificent ship of today's Christmas ship. However, she was not always so big. The original Christmas ship, as you know, dates back to the late 18th century, during the final days of the Age of Sail. At the time, it's estimated over 2,000 sailing vessels roamed the Great Lakes. And one of those was the 123-foot, three-masted schooner named sailing vessel Ralph Simmons. Having sailed on a Coast Guard Eagle, I can tell you that that's not an easy job. In 1968, the sailing vessel Simmons was built and launched right out of Milwaukee, Wisconsin. And at the same time, she was state-of-the-art, pinnacle of sailing vessel design. And our mission was to transport lumber from Grand Haven to Michigan to Chicago, Illinois, to support the major industrial revolution. Now, Ralph Simmons was made this trip hundreds of times over her 42-year period. And then at the turn of the century, she was bought by Mr. Herman Schooneman. Captain Schuneman's family was part of a Laker captain's group that by 1910 they were well established, and he was an experienced mariner. For 3 decades, 3 decades he participated in this tradition of making this late season Christmas tree run from northern Michigan to the city of Chicago. And by this point, the tradition of decorating evergreens in the homes was widely practiced. And so to Chicago, Captain Schuneman and his family became known for their generosity and kindness in selling these trees. And these trees symbolized hope, family, and all those feelings that come to life when you sit around your Christmas tree. I grew up the youngest son of a single mother in the city of Philadelphia, and we did not have much when we grew up. And Christmas was always a special time, regardless of how we struggled and tried to meet the daily challenges. When I would wake up on Christmas morning and smell the evergreen and look down and see the tree, it was always a miracle to me. I'm not sure how my mom did it, honestly, but there was always ornaments from previous years and at least one special package just for me. Those moments really inspired me, and Christmas is my favorite time of year. But I digress to my story of Captain Schuneman, so I'll get back on target. When I was thinking about reading the history, I likened him to the Grinch that stole Christmas, and of course you may say, why is that? Clearly not the beginning part, because he was kind of a jerk, but but at the end when he hears the music and his heart grows and he becomes stronger and he comes and delivers all the trees and presents back to town, and he understands that sharing that feeling about family is what it's all about. Captain Schuneman's popularity grew so much that people in Chicago actually called him Captain Santa. Captain Santa positively impacted so many families in Chicago, just like our volunteers here today have done. However, like so many of our heroes, this story was also accompanied by tragedy. On November, in November 22nd, it's a Friday, sailing vessel Simmons departed Thompson, Michigan. Captain Santa was at the helm, and he had nearly 5,000 trees on board, destined to offload right here in Chicago. But shortly after his departure, one of those infamous gales of November swept over Lake Michigan. I don't know if you know this, but there's over 6,000 shipwrecks in the Great Lakes. Sailing vessel Rough Simmons never reached port again. Captain Santa and his crew of 16 were lost. Throughout the years following, thousands of Chicagoans treasured their memories of the Christmas ship sailing into the pier, fully loaded with trees. They remembered the evergreen smell, the magical strings of electric lights, the genuine kindness of Captain Schuneman and his whole family. It was those memories, I think, that helped that whole generation get through World War, Great Depression. They would remember the goodness, charity, how just for a moment when the Christmas ship was approaching the pier, there was hope. Captain Schuneman inspired thousands by his kindness, and his legacy lives on today. Captain Green and Mackinac, and all those who put forth the effort to make it happen. I'd like to think how the most important resource the Coast Guard gives the American people is hope. Often this hope manifests itself as a rescue helicopter or a small boat answering the prayers of someone mariner in distress. But today, this hope is delivered in the form of Christmas trees. And today we are privileged to not be alone, but stand together with all of those who are part of this event. In memory of Captain Santa. We stand in solidarity with the Christmas ship crews of the past. And let us keep in mind that what we're doing is truly honoring their legacy. Like it's for the years to come. I'd like to thank you for your time today. Wish you all a Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year.
Families who will be receiving Christmas trees today. We also want to acknowledge Zeke Morris, the board chair. Thank you so much for the both of you to be here.
All right, I come bearing gifts today. So, on behalf of ADS McKinley Community Services, our 600 staff throughout Chicago, primarily in Wisconsin, and our board of directors led by Mr. Zeke Morris, the gifts that I come are a gift of thanks. So, thank you all for coming out. The gift of warmth. So, let's make some noise. Clap your hands, wiggle your toes. My son's singing chamber chorale choir. So, let's jump down a little bit for a moment. Our singers behind us, lastly, the gift of time. Someone once said, it's better to steal a man's money than steal a man's time, because you can give his money back, but you can never give his time back. So with that, in conclusion, I conclude.
You for all of your contributions that you have provided to the Chicago Christmas Tree Ship. You have made it possible. A wonderful revival of this maritime tradition that started in Chicago over 100 years ago. It's going to continue. So please help it continue with your contributions, your support for being here. We'd love to see you here. Mark your calendars for December 2nd, 2023. That's when we'll be back again with the continuation of the Chicago Christmas Tree Ship. Thank you so very much for being here. Thank you for making us a part of your day. The Christmas trees are pretty much all loaded and ready to leave on the trucks. So now, let's give these trucks a great Chicago send-off. Let's hear it. Have a wonderful Christmas. God love you, and thank you for being here.